let's talk about my favorite type of presentations, the persuasive decision-making presentations. So this structure is used in sales, marketing, business development, and you might be in need of this structure to pitch your idea at work. So let's get down to business. My name is Meta and I'm the founder of Future Voices, this community of leaders shaping their persuasive communication skills. And I just love persuasive pitching. I believe it is a really cool thing to actually help someone run through the obstacles and objections and a great number of excuses we all make in our daily lives not to do something, you know what I mean? And get them to say yes, a real powerful, inspired, engaged, happy, hopeful yes. So the starting point always is a very powerful opening statement. Your audience must for sure agree with you on something simple from the get-go. As soon as you walk out the stage, something like, okay, raise your hand if you like money. Check, yes. The simpler the better the question, okay? So this opening statement needs to capture the audience's attention straight from the get-go and also emphasize this grand scheme of things, the big umbrella, the big picture of your subject. For example, you could begin with a thought-provoking question, a startling real statistic, or a relevant quote, but it must be around the subject like a big umbrella. So this opening statement needs to have a positive resonance. This is very important. So if I were to say, do you agree with me money is a source of corruption? I have a double resonance maybe. It can be a yes, it can also be a no, it can also be a maybe, it can also be I don't really know what to say. So it's a bit it depends. So this is a wishy-washy opening. This is why opening with the simplest positive agreeable statement is super important, making it as simple as possible, and most of all, probably all of them have to agree to that. Okay, now we've covered that. Now what we will use to make this structure simpler for you to grasp are frames. So what are frames? Frames are chunks of information that fit together. Okay, so this first opening statement is what I call the resonance frame. And next in this decision-making presentation structure, we jump to the problem frame. So in the problem frame, we can use stories or anecdotes, even information and data, something that illustrates the problem, the issue that needs to be addressed. Now, a story can also provide context around the problem. So what you can do is you can illustrate what will happen if the problem continues to not be addressed. So there will be consequences, right? So in this problem frame, you have both the current problem and the consequences, and also how they relate to our human needs. The reason we use storytelling to illustrate this frame is to not just make it logical, but also to add emotional context around this logical reasoning. This is important. In persuasion, both these things are very important, logical reasoning and emotional appeal. So storytelling can help make the topic more relatable and give the audience a bit more contextual, clear, and also an emotional understanding of the situation. Now, since you've opened up a can of worms here with the pain story about the problem, I advise you to move over towards the desire frame. That's where we want to be, right? All of our problems solved. How about using a video to cover the gains? Maybe other people can explain them and not you. That can be very persuasive, actually. Okay, so let's recap what we've done so far. We established a clear resonance with our audience about the issue. Then we moved to the problem, and then we moved to the end result in the context of this decision, so the problem frame and the outcome frame. The next question now, what will the audience wonder about now? I bet the audience is going to want to know who you are and how do you know? How do I know you know? So now it's time for you to go into the expert frame. You introduce yourself, and you must introduce yourself by positioning yourself as the expert in this field. I advise you to use 3 segments of your life that are indisputably linked to this topic. No need to recite your full CV. This is not the timeline of your life. Just mention a couple things, a bit like, when did you first learn about this in terms of the problem? How many years of experience do you have in solving the problem? How many wins did you have in solving the problem? And also fails count. Don't forget about the fails. Don't forget about the fails. But always end with a big win at the end. Your most important achievement always comes last. Okay, so now that you established your credibility, you can move into the, obviously, solution frame. This is where you explain details about your subject from 5 different angles. You have, well, the 5 different angles can be many things, but let's just look at what they could be: theory, practice, value, personal beliefs, and testimonials. As with testimonials, this is the proof frame of your pitch. This can also be, separate at the end. You can explain it with maybe a used case, or have other people do this for you. Show examples of other people breaking through the barrier of obstacles and objections. When you do that, your audience, people who are listening to this, they can get quite jealous, or there's this bit of envy that other people have solved the problem that they're still tackling. And envy is always a kind of useful emotion to put in the pitch. Okay, so at the end, we have the call to action frame, or action frame. Of course, I explained the call to action in detail in another video, so I will just leave you with my very own call to action to check out this whole course I created about pitching without pushing. If you want to get great at persuasion, perhaps this course, you can get it on the link, is just what you need. And don't forget to also stay on this channel, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to get notified when new content is released. I hope you enjoyed this video about the structure of a persuasive decision-making presentation. If you have more questions you'd like me to answer about persuasion, do comment and we will be in touch. For now, stay cool and don't forget, speak soon.